All right, we're gonna reset. You're checking out Weekend at Gabe's with Weekend Gabe, the real Sam Crane joining us. Give us a follow on these social medias at Weekend Gabe and at Weekend Gabe. Joining us now, a friend of the show and one of our biggest guests that we've ever had on this show, Mr. Jeff Bradshaw. Good evening, sir.
How you doing, gentlemen? How's it going, man?
Good. I am not shy when I tell you that you are one of our biggest guests that we've had on the show, and I've been doing this since September. So this is. Are we on show 40? We're on show 39.
I'd like to add to that. Not only are you one of the biggest guests that I've had on the show, but the album, listening to it, was the most enjoyable album I've listened to this year.
Yes.
So really, kudos to you for putting together an impressive body of work.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm honored to be here.
Yeah, Stronger, your record, it came out late last year. It's a phenomenal release, man. I just can't begin to tell you the collaborations, the guests that appear on here. It's soulful, it's funky, the grooves, everything about it is I do with Marsha Ambrosius. Oh my God. Let me tell you something. All right. But between us, no one else is watching. Listen, me and my wife, we've agreed that there is one celebrity that we would get by if we're ever to step outside. We have that one celebrity, Marsha Ambrosius. I know she's a married woman, and I am saying this with the most kindness. But ever I was given the opportunity, that is my go-to. Marsha Ambrosius is a phenomenal. Just everything about her is amazing. So that's a great pickup for you.
She would be glad to hear that. Marsha is an amazing person. She's an amazing person. That's my sister.
Absolutely.
That's my sister. Just an amazing person, an amazing songwriter, an amazing songstress, and just always an honor. And even though she's like my sister, I'm a fan, and I've been a fan of hers since Floetry first came.
Yes.
To the United States, I first came to Philly, and I first met her on stage, backing her at the Blue Funk, a incredible comedy music and social showcase that we had back in many years ago. And she is an honor to work with, and that's why she's on almost every one of my albums, because she is a friend, and it's always an honor to work with her, and she's just a joy to be around.
A lot of people don't know this about Marsha Ambrosius, but I believe, and this may be apocryphal, but I think this would be true if you asked Drake, that she played a massive part in the early part of Drake's career as far as getting him booked for shows when he was still playing piano at bars and things like that. So you'll have to double check with Marsha on that one, but I'm pretty sure if you ask both parties, they will confirm.
I'm not surprised. Marsha's worked with everybody from Michael Jackson on down. So,
talk about that record in general, how it came together, because it's honestly one of my favorites on the album for sure.
I Do Sincerely.
Yes.
Yeah.
I Do Sincerely is a song that Marsha and I worked on many years ago. Probably about now. I was working on the Bon Appetit album, which came out in 2013. And we worked on it like maybe 2011, maybe 2012. And it was a song that we both held on to because I wasn't sure when I was going to put it out. And I didn't put it out in the 2013 album. And then when it came time around for the Jeff Bradshaw and Friends album, the Jeff Bradshaw Friends live album at the Kimmel Center, Marsha was like, "Let's do it live." So then that was the first time that the world heard the song, that we performed it live for the live album, which was critically acclaimed and one of my best works. And then when it came time to work on a new album, Marsha was like, "We never put out a studio version of the song." So we remixed it. I added a new solo to the song and added some background vocals, and we remixed it, and not remixed it, but we mixed it over. And then made it sonically where it needed to be with the rest of the album, and then we finally put the song out. But the song is now probably about 10 years old.
Wow.
That's just the excellence of Marsha. I produced the song, but Marsha wrote it, and that's just uh, it's a it's just she's just amazing, and a song that's 10 years old. A good song is a good song. A great song is a great song, and that song is a classic. And to record that song 10 years ago, and to put it out, you know, 9 years later, it still sounds like we did it like last year. She's just an amazing, amazing artist, and all I did was lay the canvas out, and she painted it.
Word.
Another guest spot that I noticed on here, Jeff, is that you were able to find Glenn Lewis. Glenn Lewis is one of my all-time early 2000s soulful. I think it's A World Beyond My Window. I think it's called.
Absolutely.
That album. Sam is like 23 years old. Sam missed everything.
Oh my God. And fun fact, well, not fun fact, but important fact about World Outside My Window. Marsha wrote 6 songs on that album.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Marsha wrote 6 songs on that album.
That's crazy.
Glenn Lewis, Toronto's own. Glennon is another brother, another good friend of mine. Still, I believe, one of the most underrated singers in the industry. And I can't wait until he drops some more music. And I would love to work with him again. He's such a good friend of mine. We've performed together. We've worked together. He worked on my first album back in 2000 when he was scorching hot. My Bon Appetit album. We recorded a song together called Beyond the Stars, which went on to be a big wedding song for many, many of my fans, many, many people. And he was amazing then. He's amazing now. He looks the same. I was like, man, age a bit. He looks the same, sounds the same. He's a happily married man now to a beautiful, beautiful woman. And I couldn't be happier for him. And the world needs to hear more Glenn Lewis.
Word.
That's phenomenal. So I mean, everyone on here is A1. Robert Glasper. You have James Poyser. Just these phenomenal names that you've worked with in the past, and it feels like you really enjoy collaborating with these. I know they're big names to us, but they're friends to you and frequent collaborators that you have this long, rich history with. Is that what inspires you to continue to make new records? Just having that camaraderie with these big names because they just seem to bring out the best in you and themselves.
Well, it's funny. I'm always cognizant of that people. I still have to bring. For so many years, there was not a. I mean, we're talking going back to the '70s and early '80s.
Yeah.
The years of Fred Wesley and the JBs. The last time that mainstream music had an artist that was a trombonist. It goes back to Fred Wesley and the JBs. And when I say mainstream, I mean mainstream R&B radio. The last time mainstream R&B radio semi-embraced an artist that was a trombone player was Fred Wesley, my distant mentor, James Brown. Fred Wesley and the JBs, from the JBs with James Brown, the iconic trombonist and arranger for James Brown in the 70s. So he had a hit song on R&B radio called House Party. A lot of people know that. They're like, oh my God, you're like the first person. I was like, no, not the first person. Fred Wesley had an amazing hit song called House Party, one that played on R&B radio in the 70s, in the early 80s. So I'm not the first. But he kicked down a door that had not been fully kicked open until I was blessed to come along, and now I am trailblazing for all of the other younger trombone players that are going to come behind me that mainstream radio may take a second look at because of the success of my career, obviously the success of my brother in arms, Trombone Shorty. People are looking at the trombone kind of in a different way, a little more, receptive. Not a lot for mainstream radio, but receptive to where I am getting more now than ever, radio play on soul and R&B radio. Obviously, jazz radio, smooth jazz radio is kind of a given. Smooth jazz radio is a little different because they're used to sax players. It's a genre of music that's dominated by sax players. But once they hear my music, then they become more, more accepting, more receptive to my music. Once they hear it, they say, "That's a trombone player," and they're like, but once they hear the music, they're like, "Oh, okay, it's this thing," And so it's an honor to trailblaze, to continue to stand on the shoulders of a giant like Mr. Fred Wesley, as far as mainstream soul and R&B music is concerned, to be able to be played, So that's why it's always a joy, because I know the game and I know the whole things are more receptive when you're not going to just turn people immediately. It's going to take years to have people receive an artist that's an actual trombonist. So, because they're so used to seeing them in horn sections playing with great artists, which I have done for many years, toured many great artists in the horn sections, continually even now, touring, doing my own tours and touring with Patti LaBelle. But that's the reason that I always collaborate with great singers, great songwriters, because it's easier. Because my goal is not just to be a great jazz player or a contemporary jazz player or soul jazz player or neo soul, wherever you want to put it. I'm a soul baby that plays trombone. So I always collaborate with incredible vocalists, and which is fun for me because people are more receptive when you're bringing them along with a really cool song, a really beautiful song that's blanketed with a great vocalist, and then they get to see the many roles. Not all the album, but a good portion of the album has a lot of vocals on it, and then a good portion of the album has instrumentals on it. But it's easier as far as radio play is concerned. It's easier to put people in a comfortable place with a vocalist, and then add that my trombone plays different roles in the horn section, solos, different beautiful soulful lines that go along. And it shows not just it's a solo instrument, but it's also what they're used to hearing in horn sections. But I play so many roles. Produce the record, produce a lot of the records, horn lines, horn arrangements of the records, and play solos on a lot of the records. So I'm just bringing people along, song by song, album by album, making them more and more receptive. I hope, and all of the trombone players that come behind me will have an easier road than I have to, because trailblazing is a tough job. But you know what? Somebody's got to do it. James Brown trailblazed. Grover Washington Jr., the late great.
Oh, my favorite jazz musician of all time. Yo.
Grover Washington Jr., from Buffalo, New York, but beloved in Philadelphia, where he made his home and his family. The ambassador, which means messenger. Grover Washington Jr. was the ambassador of contemporary jazz music on sax. And he trailblazed for a lot. He is one of the main reasons that they actually have a genre, because of people like Grover Washington Jr.
Yeah. I like how you bring up sort of the brotherhood among trombone players and trailblazing. showing trombone players more love. I've known a few in my time, and they've all been one of the more interesting members of the band. Talk about your relationship with your instrument. Is it something that you feel like any trombone that you came across you could pick up and play, or is it like a Willie Nelson thing? Like Willie Nelson famously has just the one guitar, and that's Willie Nelson's guitar. Is it something that this is your baby and you take it everywhere you go, or is it like just put one in my hands and I will make that thing sing? Because you have some of the most impressive control I've heard from a trombone player ever.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It's not the horn. I think it's for me, it's the mouthpiece.
Word.
I can play any trombone. It doesn't matter. My trombone that I have, my custom King that I have that's been customized, that's the horn that I've had since 1995.
Word. That horn is as old as me.
I got that horn, and it was my first endorsement horn from Con Summer, and it's a King 4B, and it's my horn. It's been my main axe since 1995.
Wow.
But it's not in the horn. Herbie Hancock can sit down at any piano. I think that for me, it's the mouthpiece. As long as I have my mouthpiece, I can put my mouthpiece in any trombone and do what I do with it.
Right.
I don't think it's not the horn, even though my horn has a great sound. It has a really warm and beautiful sound. But I can play any trombone as long as I have my mouthpiece. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Chicago obviously has a history of soul music. So does Philadelphia, right? We both have rich histories of singers, performers, blues as well. Well, what is the for us being as Chicagoans and us watching from afar? I know like all the Philadelphia International Records having a historic run, and then with me, I was following during the 90s when the Roots became the jazz hip hop blue like funk band of its time, and then that kind of ushered in the neo soul of the musics, the Jill Scotts, the all these other incredible singers and flavors as well. Well, what is it about Philadelphia that seems to bring out that soul and the live instrumentations to merge so beautifully with the vocalists? What are you guys drinking out there?
Philadelphia is an amazing place. I love my city. I think it's probably in the soil here. We've had so many great artists and producers and writers, so many giants that we stand on the shoulders of, going all the way back to Coltrane, Philly Joe Jones, and so many great artists that are from here, and that's from jazz, gospel,
yeah,
and R&B and soul music. It's an honor to be from here. We just have learned. We have such a pride. We stick our chests up and somebody says, "Where you from?" "I'm from Philly." "Oh, you from Philly?" We have such a pride because we know the shoulders that we stand on. We stand on the shoulders of John Coltrane. We stand on the shoulders of Mr. Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff, the founders of
Philly
International Records.
Yes.
And we stand on the shoulders of MFSB. The band that recorded all of those albums. And we stand on the shoulders of all these great people, great writers like Bunny Sigler, Tom Bell. I mean, we have so many people that we have to thank, and they set the bar really high for us. And so we're constantly raising the bar. We know that when you say you're from Philly, there's an expectation of one soulfulness, originality, and music that feels so much great music that has come out of this city and I'm not talking about the artists may not have been from here, but they came from here, like the OJs, Manhattans,
yes,
Enchantment, and all from those oldies groups to Patti LaBelle, Phyllis Hyman, Teddy Pendergrass, and Hell Melvin and the Blue Notes, Teddy Pendergrass, and Boyz II Men.
That's right.
Obviously, the legendary Roots crew. And we've had so many people, but not just in soul music, but we have, even people talk about John Coltrane, but we have Christian McBride, the multi-Grammy award-winning bassist, Mr. Christian McBride, Philly guy. We have so many great people. Terrell Stafford, great jazz educator and performer and artist here, right from Philadelphia. Tim Warfield. I mean, we got some great guys. We got some great, amazing people here, in many different genres of music, and many great musicians and singers here.
Right.
And we're just continuing, just constantly trying to raise the bar, of the shoulders that we stand on. And that's my job, to continue to raise the bar on the shoulders that I stand on. That's why every album that I make constantly is better, more well produced, better performances, better arrangements. Not just name chasing with collaborations,
right?
Special collaborations. What would it sound like for me to just play a song with Take 6? The 10-time Grammy Award-winning virtuoso's voice. What would it sound like if I collaborated with Kim Burrell? One of the most amazing voices on this planet that's a gospel artist. What would it sound like when people would say, oh, you and Trombone Shorty are great in your individual genres in a parallel world? But what would it sound like if Jeff Bradshaw and Trombone Shorty did a song together?
Right.
I'm just so thankful that that I have these amazing people to work with. The Frank McCombs, one of the most underrated artists, performer artists in this country. Frank McComb is, oh man, if you don't know who Frank McComb is, man, he was amazing. He played with Prince. Prince loved Frank McComb, and he's as close to Donny Hathaway that we're going to get. That's walking this earth right now, and just an amazing person. And Frank was on the Buckshot LaFunk albums. I don't even know if you know what Buckshot LaFunk is, but Buckshot LaFunk was a jazz, hip hop, soul album that was put out by Mr. Branford Marsalis. Buckshot LaFunk. Do some homework on that.
All right, I got you.
Buckshot
LaFunk. We're gonna go digging as soon as we're wrapped up here.
Frank McComb was on that album. And, so to be able to work with these people, to be able to work with Amber Jean, the lead singer of Moonchild.
Yeah.
Moonchild, another amazing group of people who study soul and hip hop, and at the very core, and you can hear it in their music. Amber's voice is like an angel, and it was an honor to work with her. So I'm just honored to be able to work with these incredible people. Raheem Devon, to work with Robert.
Oh yeah.
Again, work with Raheem again, to work with Robert again, to work with Marsha again, to work with Christian McBride and James Poyser, the Philly crew, to honor the great Herbie Hancock, with two people that know him personally, two people that have performed with him, two people that he knows personally. I knew that it was important if I was going to touch a Herbie Hancock song, which is my favorite song, Butterfly, by Herbie Hancock. I knew that James Poyser had to play Rhodes. James is very, very close to Herbie Hancock. I knew Christian McBride. If anybody knows jazz, Christian McBride knows jazz. They know how to play bass. I knew that a symbol, and I hope people understand how important it was to record a song, to tribute a song, to pay tribute to the great Herbie Hancock, who just celebrated a birthday yesterday or today. It's Herbie Hancock's birthday. Today or yesterday, I think it's Herbie Hancock's birthday. So I pay tribute to a lot of artists on this record. Eric Benet, Beyonce, many other people, and it's an honor, man. It's a real honor to have these great collaborations on all four of my albums.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we let you go, Mr. Bradshaw, I wanted to ask. I know several years ago you were diagnosed with a rare medical disease, diverticulitis. Is that how you say it?
Diverticulitis.
There you go. That's why I'm not in the medical field. So can you provide us an update on how you're doing? I kind of correlate the name of the album Stronger to kind of your how you're performing and how you're doing health wise. But can you just let us know how you're feeling? What's the latest you can share with us that you're open about sharing with us? Because we're definitely want to make sure that you're around as long as you can, as long as you want to be with us.
Well, the short version is, for people that don't know what diverticulitis is, it's a gastrointestinal disease that in your large intestines, along the walls of your diverticula, that moves the food along inside of those diverticula. When you have poor fiber in your diet, obviously touring the world, getting on tour buses, eating wings and pizza, after shows at 12 and 1 o'clock in the morning, and climbing on the tour bus, and riding all night. Obviously, nobody's passing out salads, tossed salads, you get wings and pizza, and then getting on the tour with a stack of pizzas on the tour bus. What happens is, after many years of touring and poor fiber dieting, I developed diverticulitis, which is blood-filled pockets that form on the walls of your diverticula, because the food is stuck there. The food gets caught there and it stays there, and it inflames the diverticula, and it forms blood-filled pockets that burst, and then you bleed internally. I'm doing great. I received so much love from so many, and I just had to learn how to eat all over again. I had to understand that now I can't have seeds, nuts, or corn because they get stuck. Those are things that don't really digest, so they get stuck in there and they aggravate it, and you start all over again. So I just had to learn to drink aloe water, to drink coconut water, to stay hydrated, drink tons of water, and leafy greens are your friend. Leafy greens, no more red meat. Leafy greens are your friend. So I had to learn how to eat all over again. But I'm doing great. I haven't had a flare up. I'm good to go, and I've truly been blessed by, recovering from that, getting back on the road. So thankful that many talent buyers and promoters from all over the country put me right back to work, and I've worked more in the last, all the way up to 2019, and I worked in my whole career because of the love that I was shown by so many. So make sure you get your leafy greens and at least 2 out of 3 meals a day, and drink plenty of water to keep your large intestines very lubricated and keep that food moving along. And leafy greens is your best friend.
All right,
preferably raw leafy greens.
Word.
Kale is my best friend now.
We love kale.
There you get it from Jeff. Leafy greens is your friend. If you didn't learn anything tonight, take that home with you. It may actually save your life.
Literally.
It would definitely save your life, and I'm so glad. And that's why I'm stronger. I'm stronger for many reasons, but that's one of them, because I recovered from that. I recovered from a lot of things, and just being able to play this music at a very high level. Releasing this new album on my own record label, Bone Deep Enterprises, which is my first album on my own label after being signed to Hidden Beach and then being signed to Shanachie, the Shanachie recording label, to be able to release my best album, my best work on my own label.
That's fantastic.
It's a testament to how blessed I am and the continued evolution of myself as a musician, producer, and now record company executive. Big shout out to my manager, Mr. Myron Ruffin, the great Mr. Myron Ruffin, and George Littlejohn and Russell from my distribution company, Purpose Music Group, and the E1. Thank you so much for having me, man. If people don't have Stronger, download Stronger by Jeff Bradshaw today. It will truly, truly bless you.
Absolutely.
It's out there on all streaming platforms. Go put it in your life. It's the thing to do. Trust me. We both listened to it today, and it just the energy and the vibe that it brings out, it'll definitely brighten your day. So I highly encourage you, along with leafy greens,
raw leafy greens. That's what we own.
Your life as well.
Raw leafy greens.
Mr. Bradshaw, thank you so much for giving us your time here on Weekend at Gabe's. We appreciate it. We can't wait to see you back performing live in the city once things reopen. We'll definitely be there front row to welcome you back.
Absolutely. Thank you. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at I am Jeff Bradshaw. On all social media platforms at I am Jeff Bradshaw. Gabe, thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for helping me tell my story. And I look forward to being here again sometime.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Look, Jeff in these streets and on these internets. He's everywhere.
He is everywhere.
He's like a meme. You know, you can't go anywhere without him. All right, Jeff, enjoy your evening. We appreciate it again.
Thank you, gentlemen. God bless.
Right.
God bless.
Jeff Bradshaw joining us here on Weekend at Gabe's. That was such a fantastic conversation. I'm so glad
I love jazz, and to hear him bring up Grover Washington Jr.'s name was awesome. To talk about Marsha Ambrosius, I feel like both of us have different relationships with Marsha, but what an artist, and the album is truly excellent. It's rejuvenating, replenishing. Go put that in your life. Stronger on all the streaming platforms right now. But I am Jeff Bradshaw.
Yeah, I had a full hour conversation with Marsha Ambrosius 2-3 years ago when she was in Chicago, and she was super kind. Asked all my stupid industry questions about being with Dr. Dre and to Detox and all that stuff, and she's just phenomenal. I have nothing bad to say, and I think that's why she's such a beautiful person, because she's one of the kindest people that you'll ever run across and listen to. There's nothing negative you'll ever hear anything said about that woman.
Absolutely.